If you want to know the best stagger build in Yotei, you are in the right place. With more than 100 hours of in-game experience, I went back to the drawing board and optimized my Stagger Samurai build. The Stagger Samurai build will allow you to break enemy stances in just few heavy attacks, and with the right setup, this build has a chance to stagger any type of target in a single hit. This build is simply a powerhouse that can shred groups of enemies like it's nothing. Perfect for anyone who loves to play aggressively. The Stagger Samurai build is being powered by the Spider Lily armor. This armor will enable Atsu to inflict a lot of stagger damage to any kind of target, giving the edge in one-on-one fights or even in groups. The Spider Lily's first passive increases the drop chance of throwable weapons, and you might find this a little boring at first. Not all players knows that throwable weapons are simply too good to ignore. Throwable weapons simply hits like an absolute freight train, and since Atsu can throw them as soon as she gets one, she can one-shot targets in the process, or if the targets fails to die, they will suffer major stagger damage instead. What makes this armor broken is that it increases your stagger damage to enemies by a moderate amount, so enemy stances will break like paper, especially if you use the right weapon type. Moderate amount seems a little bit lacking at first, but it does hit differently in combat. In every enemy that you stagger, the armor's third passive gives you a moderate chance to release a spirit shockwave. This shockwave will affect the surrounding enemies, filling each of the target's stagger meter by a lot. So when you get to the next target, it will be easier for you to break the target stance. Most of the time, if you do have a good RNG, you will notice a domino effect when staggering enemies. A shockwave will then take effect. Then the surrounding enemies will receive stagger damage, and then you will stagger a new target with either of your tools or heavy attacks, releasing another shockwave, so and so on, trapping the enemies with this vicious cycle of being staggered. This is the reason why this armor allows you to shred enemy groups like it's nothing. And as mentioned, you can stagger enemies with the use of your tools, and these tools can also trigger the shockwave. Get the Spider Lily armor by heading to the southeastern section of the Tonkatsu range. Once you arrive in the location, access the gate, and Ugetsu will confront you and tell you another samurai tale. Head to the inner section of the estate, and your goal here is to get 4 specific keys to progress in the area. Facing the pagoda, head to your left and follow the path past the nearby structure. You will find an entrance through a bamboo garden with a white flag. Once you are inside, there are multiple paths that you can take here. This whole garden is a puzzle, and only one path will let you progress here. Follow the path with the spider lily flowers on it, which are the red flowers just in case you don't know it, and repeat this 3 times to solve the puzzle and get the key from a bamboo strike. And then not far from the bamboo garden's location, head to your left and follow the path that will eventually lead you to a wounded samurai with a cave entrance. Enter the cave and navigate the straightforward path with a little bit of parkouring until you reach the cave section where the cave paintings are located. This is also where the cave key or the second key can be found. Get the key and access the nearby exit and head back to the section where we started. Facing the pagoda, head in its direction and follow the white path to your right. You are in the right direction if you see Saito's men who is engaged in grave digging as well, just like you. Take the soldiers out and progress by accessing the bamboo ladder, which will then lead you to the next and final group of soldiers. Near the tall grave, get the engraved key placed on a wooden container next to a dead samurai. Now head back to where the pagoda is located and get the final key from a treasure chest placed on the pagoda's balcony. Head through the lock gates near the pagoda and use all of the keys you collected. This will lead you to the inner section of the abandoned estate, and the next thing is access the wooden door on the right to reach the training ground. Past the training ground, follow the straightforward path leading to the boss arena where you need to use your grappling hook. Access the boss arena and the Spider Lily General will challenge you to a duel and beat this guy to finally put him to rest and get the Spider Lily armor placed on his grave. If you're getting value so far, subscribe to the channel. Liking the video and engaging in the comments helps me more than you can imagine. The Charm of Enduring Resolve gives you a major chance of 1 spirit refund whenever you use your spirit techniques. You'll be using a lot of spirit techniques in this build, so the possible refunds will give you more chances of dishing out spirit attacks. This is very useful when taking down enemy groups. Get this charm by unlocking the Twin Path Fox Den in Ishikari Plains. Now I cannot stress how broken the Charm of Hidden Blade is, especially for this build. Instead of throwing 1 kunai per use, this charm will add add 3 additional kunais per throw, meaning you will have a great chance of proccing the shockwave since you will be staggering 4 targets simultaneously. Get this broken charm by liberating one of the farms in Hana's quest in Tesho's Ridge. You need to find Hana first, the kunai master, in the location that I am showing on the screen right now, so you can start the kunai quest and unlock the sub-weapon in the process. The Charm of Confident Strikes gives you a major chance to gain 1 spirit charge when staggering katana user. Most of the enemies in this game are katana users, so you will get so much value from this charm. The more spirits you have, the more spirit techniques that you can perform. Get this charm very early in the game from Merchant Taro, and I suggest working your way on upgrading it as soon as possible. The Charm of Shattering Strikes is yet another stagger damage source in your kit. This charm will allow you to unleash an explosion of shrapnel and inflict major stagger damage on surrounding enemies whenever you destroy a shield with a Kusarigama. The broken thing here is the shrapnel explosion takes effect on top of the possible spirit shockwave proc from the armor's effect. So when that happened, you will be double dipping with stagger damage, allowing you to inflict major stagger damage on surrounding enemies. Get this charm by liberating Soya Port in Tesho Ridge and rescuing the weaponsmith in this location. Another good charm for this build and to beef up your Yari is the Charm of Cannon Steps. So when you are up against Kusarigama enemies, using the Typhoon's Kick will give you a major chance of instantly staggering enemies. Liberate Bold Kajiforge in Ishikari Plains and rescue the blacksmith Kotetsu, and he will reward you with this charm. The last charm on this build is flexible, but I usually run with Charm of Thundering Assault. You do have an option to just use the Odachi alone in this build to counter any type of enemies, and this charm will give you the chance to knock down enemies in every successful stagger. Get this charm by liberating the Marshland Homestead in Tokachi Range. Or you can use the Charm of Burning Blades instead as the last charm for this build, a charm that makes your kunai inflict fire and ignite enemies. This is absolutely one of the broken charms in this game, and I cannot stress that enough, since 4 burning kunais are too much to handle, dealing immense stagger and raw damage. Get this charm by liberating all 5 farms and completing Hana's quest in Tesho's Ridge. The sub-weapons for this build are pretty flexible, but I use mostly is the Yumi for my long-range attacks. This build rarely use ranged weapons unless clearing out enemy stationed on watchtowers. Get the longbow Yumi and also the Hankyu from Merchant Run, usually located in major areas or towns. The Tanjutsu is pretty much a standard weapon at endgame, so you can take out riflemen or archers easily. You can also extend your stand-ups by 1 enemy if you unlock the stand-up pistol skill. Get this awesome weapon by unlocking Oshimakos and hunting down Master Murata, so you can complete his initial quest and receive the gun as the reward. There is no reason for you to not get the Honest Blade, as this Quickfire weapon imbues your weapons with fire, and your attacks will not just be stronger, but they will also be unblockable, perfect for boss battles. Get the Honest Flame by just progressing the main story in Ishikari Plains, mainly the story quest Twin Wolves, Twin Hearts. Another good sub-weapon for this build is the Blind Bomb, and this thing is broken as hell. And why, I hear you asking, my dear viewer? It is because you can just throw this bomb to blind and deal stagger damage to multiple targets, and you can just dive in and stagger the enemies using the right weapon type, or just dive in with the Odachi. All of the stagger gauge affected by the bomb are almost at max or 90% of the time, and these targets are also vulnerable to attacks. Get the Blind Bomb by progressing Ina's quest in Ishikari Plain, and I believe you already have this quest after unlocking the Scorch Bomb. And as mentioned, the kunai is the perfect sub-weapon for this build, so you can easily stagger multiple enemies and have a great chance of proccing the shockwave. When it comes to the key skills to make this build work, it is a must to have all of the weapon's spirit techniques, because spirit techniques can easily stagger enemies, like Heavenly Slash of the Katana, the Mountain Breaker of the Odachi, or the Kusarigama's Claw and Talon. All weapon-related upgrade is suggested because all of them are important and mandatory, and you will eventually max them anyway at endgame. But if you are trying to make this build in early game, focus on each of the weapon's stagger upgrades. When it comes to wolf skills, you should focus on the summoning tree first during the early game, like unlocking the wolf's house first, so when you do the Onryo's howl, you do have a chance to summon the wolf. And afterwards, get the wolf's vengeance under the combat tree, so the wolf stays when you summon it. And after that, get all of the skills in the summoning tree so you can increase the chances of summoning your wolf. Playing this build is pretty straightforward, as you will be spamming heavy attacks and stagger enemies in few swings, while hoping to stagger shockwave procs and going in for the kill. This build is designed to destroy group of enemies, and you want to keep on pressuring the targets around you by using your kunais, and you will be staggering targets here and there while also giving you the chance to proc waves of stagger shocks. Make sure to abuse your spirit attacks frequently as they deal the highest stagger possible. You can also use your blind bombs and use the Odachi to take out all of the blinded enemies, since the Odachi has a massive stagger damage bonus on all targets. If you are up against bosses, staggering them quickly with Oni's Flame and Spirit techniques is the best strategy to go for, while bosses with minions often hurt the boss instead of helping them, since the stagger shockwave can affect enemy camp leaders as well. But if you want to know the strongest build in the game that can destroy everything, this video has all the best and whistles. So click on this video and I will catch you on the next one.